Anthropic's new job listing reveals everything that's wrong with the tech world. Today, they're desperately trying to stop their own AI from destroying the world. Don't believe us? Keep watching and subscribe for more. Leaked job listing. Today, if you were to browse the career pages of the world's most powerful AI companies, we would expect to see job titles related to coding, machine learning, and software engineering. It's just this month, in March 2026, that a deeply disturbing job listing was leaked by none other than Anthropic, which is the multi-billion-dollar American AI firm that is responsible for creating the Claude AI personal assistant. Yes, Anthropic is the company that was actively hunting for the policy manager of chemical weapons and high-yield explosives. Now, on one hand, it doesn't look like that big of a deal, but when you read the official listing, you see exactly what is happening. The company demanded that applicants have a minimum of 5 years of hardcore real-world chemical experience in chemical weapons defense. Moreover, the ideal candidate also needed to have an intimate, highly technical knowledge of radiological dispersal devices. If you look at the general public, a radiological dispersal device is also known by a common name called a dirty bomb, so this doesn't make any sense. Why would an artificial intelligence company based in the safe suburbs of California need dirty bomb experts? This is what is keeping the world up at night. The answer to this must be understood, because it reveals a massive, quiet crisis that is unfolding behind the secret doors of Silicon Valley. You see, Anthropic is a company that has built its entire brand on being the safest and most ethical AI developer in the world, and now it is terrified of the catastrophic misuse. Just the other day, they were mocking ChatGPT because ChatGPT is now integrating AI into its platform, but Claude will remain AI-free. They have realized that their own AI has become so advanced, so intelligent, and capable of connecting so many complex data points that it could accidentally teach a random user how to manufacture something like a nuclear bomb or a mass destruction weapon in their own garage. They even confirmed to the BBC that they are not hiring these experts to build a weapon. Instead, they're hiring them to build technical guardrails that protect people from building things like bombs. They want military experts to test their AI to the max, finding out exactly what the AI secretly knows, and then build digital walls and digital guards to ensure that the software never hands out the Krabby Patty secret recipe for a chemical formula to your average job. But here's the thing, Anthropic is not the only tech giant that is facing this problem. In fact, their biggest rival is throwing even more money at the exact same terrifying problem. We have OpenAI, the famed developer behind ChatGPT, who recently posted an identical job vacancy. They're hunting for a lead researcher who specializes in biological and chemical risks. While Anthropic is offering a much higher salary for their role, OpenAI is willing to pay an astonishing $455,000 a year for the right expert. This specific issue is not an accident, because throughout history, the ultimate barrier to creating a weapon of mass destruction was infrastructure and information. To build a nuclear weapon, a rogue nation or terrorist group needs highly enriched uranium, huge industrial centrifuges, and billions of dollars in specialized equipment. Nuclear weapons cannot be built in cigarettes. That's the thing. However, biological and chemical weapons are entirely different. They don't need massive factories. They only require highly specialized knowledge. The chemicals that are needed to create nerve agents or toxic explosives are often already available in commercial industries. Moreover, the pathogens that are needed to start a localized biological crisis can also be synthesized in a small laboratory that is secret. Looking back, the only thing that is keeping these weapons out of the hands of most terrorists is the sheer difficulty of the science. Thanks to modern AI, we can read a chemistry book in under a day, and every single piece of information is readily available, which is keeping tech CEOs awake at night. If an advanced AI model is not properly regulated, a user would not even need a PhD in chemistry to build a high-quality explosive. They only need to ask their AI assistant for the step-by-step tutorial. Dirty bomb. Even though hiring a military expert is good for building safety filters, and it sounds like a reasonable decision, many tech researchers are raising concerns about the fact that this method itself is quite destructive. Take, for example, Dr. Stephanie here, who is a popular technology researcher and also a co-presenter at the BBC's AI Decoded program. At first, she publicly questions the logic of the entire operation. She even asked a simple question whether it's even safe to use AI systems to handle sensitive chemicals and explosive information. This gives us a huge question mark on the ultimate paradox of AI safety training. In order to stop an AI from generating the infrastructure for a dirty bomb, you cannot simply tell the AI not to talk to the bomb, because most people would work around it. They could manipulate the AI itself to trick it into building one. This process is called red teaming. Companies hire a chemical engineer, a chemical weapons expert, to act like terrorists. First, these experts would spend their days attacking the AI using some of the most complex prompts to trick the software into handling overly dangerous chemical formulas. When the AI fails and gives up the information, the engineers would patch up that specific vulnerability. This means that the exact blueprints, formulas, and concepts for those exact things are being actively fed into these massive neural networks. The AI holds this forbidden knowledge deep inside the code, and it gets only smarter. What if a highly skilled hacker manages to break the safety filters themselves? What happens if an open source version of an AI is stolen by a foreign government? The blueprint for mass destruction would be greater than ever. When we talk about Dr. Hare, she even pointed out that there is no international treaty or regulatory body that is handling these kinds of things. If it gets into the hands of someone, they would face no accountability charges either. Pentagon blacklist. After this, the tensions between private tech companies and national security recently exploded into a huge legal war between Anthropic and the United States government. Just weeks before Anthropic began this hiding process, the US Department of Defense officially designated Anthropic as a supply chain risk as well. This is not normal because this is exactly the same as a severe national security blacklist that happened to companies like Huawei. But how did an American tech company that was founded by Americans end up on the US military blacklist? It all comes down to the rules of war. Anthropic CEO has pushed the narrative that his company builds constitutional AI, so when the US military began integrating AI into its defense networks, Anthropic said no, we're not doing that. They legally insisted that their AI model must never be used to power fully autonomous weapons, meaning that weapons that can identify a target and kill human beings without a human officer pulling the trigger. Moreover, they even demanded that their technology should not be used for mass surveillance of American citizens. The CEO wrote an open letter stating that the technology is not reliable enough yet, and that using it for lethal targeting could result in devastating casualties. The White House and the Pentagon, after hearing this statement, got furious, and the administration insisted that the United States military will not have its battlefield tactics dictated by a radical tech executive in Silicon Valley. So in short, they labeled Anthropic as bad, and the Pentagon essentially banned any federal agencies from adopting their technology, ordering a total phase-out of Anthropic software within 6 months. In response, Anthropic went even further. Beyond that, they took legal action against the US Department of Defense. They sued the government, arguing that the blacklist was unlawful and even threatened to cost the company hundreds of millions of dollars in future revenue. Hypocrisy. If the story ended right here, Anthropic would look like the savior, the noble, and the ethical company that sacrificed its profits to stop the killer robots from destroying the Earth. But the reality of the AI industry is far darker, perhaps even hypocritical. Even though they were being blacklisted by the Pentagon, and even though Anthropic had a loud public stance against using AI for lethal targeting, Cloud AI is currently being actively deployed by the US military in the ongoing US-Israel war with Iran. But how is this possible? The answer is a massive data analytics defense contractor named Palantir. In late 2004, before the Pentagon blacklist, Anthropic signed a huge strategic partnership with Amazon Services and Palantir. They even agreed to integrate Claude directly into Palantir's artificial intelligence platform, which was already deeply embedded in classified US military networks. Palantir is operating here like an all-seeing eye for the military. It can get that fragmented data from every conceivable source, from satellite imagery to drone video feeds and even phone calls. But having all that data is useless if a human cannot read it fast enough. That is where Anthropic's Claude comes in. Inside the military network, Claude acts as an intelligence analyst, and during the recent US airstrikes on Iranian military targets, the Palantir system gathered all the real-time data, and Claude ended up analyzing it at lightning speed. The AI processed the information faster than anything, and ranked the threat levels of different Iranian bases and provided human commanders with all the next steps that they must take in order to win the war. It essentially looked at the battlefield and advised the general, telling them exactly which building to bomb and at what specific time to ensure the maximum probability of success, which ended up happening as well. While Anthropic's executives are publicly suing the government over ethical boundaries and posting job listings for safety, the same AI model is being used to drop real bombs in the Middle East. Pentagon's chief technology officer even admitted that even though they blacklisted Claude, the military cannot just rip Claude out of their system overnight because the AI is already too deeply embedded into their combat infrastructure. The AI race. This hypocrisy genuinely worries everyone because it gives us a terrifying reality check of the modern artificial intelligence arms race. While Anthropic tries to maintain the safety-first public image and simultaneously cashes checks from military contractors, its main rival is taking a much more direct approach. After initially agreeing with the ethical stance regarding autonomous weapons, OpenAI quietly turned around and negotiated its own massive $200 million defense contract with the United States government. They recognize that the military-industrial complex is the most lucrative client in human history, and they will always be. So now they're moving aggressively to secure dominance in this department. This leaves the global public in an incredibly vulnerable position. The world's most powerful AI systems are being controlled by private corporations. These corporations are also hiring chemical weapons experts and dirty bomb specialists because they know how dangerous their own creations have become. Yet at the exact same time, they are racing against each other to sell these incredibly dangerous software systems to the largest military on Earth. Why do you think that is? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel because we have a lot more crazy news coming every week.